UK bodybuilding is in crisis. With growing numbers of competitors opting for more accessible fitness-based competitions, and with controversy and discourse within the established federations in the UK, traditional bodybuilding is at risk of being squeezed out. But after 3 years away from the sport, 2 veterans of the UK bodybuilding scene are out to prove they'll do whatever it takes to win a British title.
I'm going to have to go Team Tom at this point, but don't tell him that.
There's always competition, isn't there? But that makes you want to do better.
He's judging, you can see he's still got the passion for it and he still wants to be up there.
Come on.
Does Daddy get grumpy when he's dieting?
I have more titles than Tom.
This is not following a diet. This is not getting fit. This is not drugs doing the work. This is whatever it takes. This is prep. It's Thursday morning in Plymouth, and Paul has woken up with a problem.
I woke up one morning, had a look down at my arm, and there was a bruise. It wasn't as bad as that, it was only about here. And that was pretty much it. I didn't have it the night before. Initially couldn't work out what possibly could have caused it, because there was no tear, no pain, no swelling. Just couldn't figure it out. And this is what I've tried to say to people on Facebook, because my thread on it got a little bit out of hand with everybody calling for me to go and have an MRI scan and stuff like that. And I understand you can't see everything from the outside, hence why I'm going to my physio today, who have got they've got the best in Plymouth. So they've got all the scanning equipment. There's no disfigurement in my bicep when I pose it. It's just a bruise. Now that may sound like, yeah, well, it's just a bruise, why are you worried about it? The problem is, it may be a tear at some point in my arm that's keeping bleeding, because the bruising's not going down.
The bicep area. So if we just rotate you out a little bit, you're okay hanging your arm out like that, yeah? Just to have a look inside, because we can have a look at what's occurring in there. If you have a black area that you can't fill in by mobilising the actual probe, you know there's an issue. It has to be somewhere where blood is leaking, but like you said, there isn't a massive disruption in structure and there isn't a massive pain issue, so...
The actual what it takes to get to this level is just, I mean, I've had a brief experience with it this year myself, and it's hard. It's probably one of the toughest things I've done. And to get into that sort of shape at 45, I think it's amazing.
With Paul's bicep, we're going to have a quick look inside. It's looking actually quite a healthy tissue. I think there has been a bleed, but it's a contained bleed. There isn't a tear in the muscle, so it's looking like a functional muscle. It looks like there's been a little bit of a bleed, but a slow bleed, but there's nothing functionally wrong with the muscle.
So we think this was just a blood vessel, really. She's done the scan today. She can't find any issues in there, so I'm happy. I just needed to get it checked, just for peace of mind, really.
As Paul sets off on his journey to Bristol, Tom's day starts in a more relaxing fashion.
Well, I come and have a sports massage every week, and I've been seeing Jackie about 2.5 years, yeah, 2.5 years or so. So every week I come and have a massage, loosens up all the muscles, gets rid of any toxins that build up from training, and it's really important when you train hard, especially when you're dieting, because you do tend to release a lot of toxins to make sure you're ready for the next week's training. Well worth it to get one done every 1 or 2 weeks, and for the last, I think, 6 or 7 years I've been having a sports massage pretty much every week or 2 weeks. It definitely helps. No, stop, I can't fucking see. Oh, what are you doing? Fucking tall, he's getting to that bend, I won't be able to get past him.
So today, Phil Learney's coming to the gym to deliver what I can probably imagine to be the worst quad workout I've ever experienced, apart from the last one I did with him where I was very nearly sick.
It certainly wasn't an idea of both of us going, do you know what? Do you know what would be good for filming? Would be to have our last workout with Phil. Nah, it just worked out like that because of schedules, unfortunately. But I wasn't looking forward to it. I mean, properly, I wasn't looking forward to it.
Right, so, well, today is their final leg session. So the idea today is just to basically take whatever's in them, take it out of them. Am I going to go easy on them today? No. Simple answer.
Do I think Phil's going to go easy on me today? Probably not.
As soon as Paul arrives at the gym, there's a problem.
My back injury is from when I was paralysed in '96. The problem with that, because I do a lot of driving for my job, my lower back can be really bad or it can be okay. The other day when I turned up at Tom's, it can be really bad where it then interferes with sciatic nerve and it shoots down my leg, or it can just be medium bad and I can work through it. I have pain in my lower back all the time. I only complain about it when it gets really bad.
Breathe, 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 breathe. Well done.
Pull those hands back a bit more. Nah, too much. Right, do the same with that foot again, please. Let's just have a look at it. Legs look a little bit out today.
So Phil is prepping Paul for the show. There's a whole little cottage industry built up around bodybuilding about prepping people for shows. And on one end you have people who are very knowledgeable, very experienced, and know what they're doing and have a real plan, and that's where Phil is. And then on the other end of it, you have people who've maybe competed once, won third place, or not even won anything at a show, maybe some sort of personal trainer, and now they're prepping people.
This is where people always beg the question as to why a prep coach like Paul goes to another prep coach, and it's for the same reasons that everybody does. It's accountability. It's having someone to make those decisions for you when you're not going to be rational.
I don't take direction very well in terms of people prepping me, so that's why I prep myself. And ultimately, if I fail, it's on me, not on anybody else.
We don't want you to have to work quite as hard for that. It needs to just sit there. What we do pre-show will all be about taking those weaker points and making them stand out a bit more.
Today is the final leg workout before the show. A chance for Tom and Paul to perfect their abs and thigh pose.
Tom's doing the abs and thigh pose, which is normally the last pose in the compulsories on stage. Essentially, the judges are looking for a few things. Firstly, leg development, both mass and condition. Midsection to be tight, full abdominal range, intercostals, and then just an aesthetic pose from top to bottom.
He's given Paul 500 grams of carbs yesterday to absorb so that he can train today, which I didn't know about. I had a normal carb day yesterday, and then Paul turned up today and said, oh yeah, Phil gave me 500 grams of carbs yesterday.
Did Phil show me any favouritism by giving me 500 grams of carbs the day before the leg session? Yeah, without a doubt. He's my coach, not Tom's.
It's not a vindictive thing or a point-proving thing. It's the fact that this is what they need right now. They just need they need the legs to have their last little kick, a little bit of, and we're going to try and get as much blood in there as possible, much cellular swelling as possible, and do as much damage to them as possible. So the purpose behind today's session was we stepped away from doing anything which was like a back squat, any high-risk movements. We could keep them in there, but again, Paul's got a slight back niggle. Again, Tom's got a little bit of a niggle with one of his knees. We started with the leg extension, just to get the blood in there, get the knee joint warmed up, and then the rest of the focus was hitting solely the quads, getting as much blood into them across the board. So we played around with foot position a little bit, drew the feet in, feet out, again trying to focus on the outer or the inner portion of the quad, Hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it. Now resist it, hold it up, resist it, resist it, resist it. Come on, come on, come on. Hold it up. Yep, yep. Good, mate. Come on, more there, come on, more.
Come on.
Up, control. Yep, up. Slow. Up. Slow. One more.
Nice, come on, Paul.
So we moved between a hack squat, kind of a pendulum squat, and then we moved on to leg press to finish. Just simply because that order there and the leg press tends to aggravate, Paul's back a little bit. So there's no real necessity for the order at this stage. It's just get as much blood into there. So we focus some of the exercise, trying to get as much time under tension. Come on. Yep. Go. Come on. Come on. Yep.
Fuck me. Come on, mate. Keep going.
Come on, come on. Come on. Yep. Again, come on. Yep. Come on, Scarlett.
Keep going.
Scarlett,
Come on,
push.
come on, come on.
Push it right.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, again. Yeah, come on.
Drop it. Go. Go. 5 reps. 2, 3, 4. Come on. 5. Yep.
Come on, keep going, keep going.
Yep. 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 Go. 5, 4, 5. Come on.
Come on, let's go.
5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, that's 5. Come on. 5, 4, 3, 2, 4.
Come on.
3. Come on. 2.
Come on, up.
1. Yep.
That's good, go.
Go. 4.
Come on,
Come on. 3, 2, 1. Yep.
Yeah, go. Come on, keep the body. That's right.
Hold it. 1. Hold it. Hold it. Flex them to where you'll be on stage. Squeeze them. Don't lock your knee back. Squeeze them. Squeeze them.
Even if I wanted to be sick, I couldn't walk there.
So the whole idea was to squeeze the muscle, push as much blood into there as possible and get that swelling in there. This is the last session before comp, so now both of them will just rest, just allow that condition to come out and get the fluid and get all that cellular swelling away from the legs, which will bring in and dial in that condition. Come on. Right, give it a big isometric there. Isometric, squeeze your quad, stage.
I really hope there's no more reps after this.
Five. Don't rack it, don't lock it. 5. Let's go. Tension. Come on. You stop at the top, it's a contraction, it's not a pause. Yep. Depth. Come on, 3, 4, 5. Down, it's still you. Come on. Yep. Come on. Go. Go again. Yep. Come on. Yep.
When I got on, I thought I was going to be sick. I did genuinely feel when I got on I was going to be sick.
I'm quite tolerable about puking. I've never puked. Bust eardrums and nosebleeds and stuff, but I've never puked. Tom, on the other hand, he was close several times. And I'll tell you now, if he tries to say he wasn't, you've got the footage that says he was.
It ain't going to happen, no matter how long you hold that camera there.
Go, 2 more. One more. Nice, mate.
I better do the last one, man. I'm fucked.
What, last exercise?
Yeah.
I've not done exercise, right? We've got more. Not much. Something fun to finish. Finish with some lunges, some short range lunges again, just to burn them out really. Minimal amounts of weight, whatever's really left in them. And the idea is, it's a bit like blowing a car tyre up. We're just trying to get that last bit of air in there, last bit of blood in there, and just finish them off, hence why we've got that blurring of separation in there.
Right, that's the last fucking set. That was about the hardest fucking leg work I've ever done, you cunt.
It's the Monday before the show, and Tom and Paul are entering what is fast becoming known as peak week.
My next 2 meals are my carb meals. The way that I'm carbing up is just doing very small amounts over a few days, because I'm quite sensitive to carbs. Peak week, as it's called, and shouldn't be called that ever.
A lot of the stuff that people do in peak week is desperation, because they're not lean enough.
They'll ramp up their water. I've heard of stupid amounts like 10, 12 litres a day. They'll change all their drug protocols. They'll eat different carb sources, and they'll use carbs that they've never used in their 16, 20-week diet.
You know, the carbing up, yeah, makes sense. But it doesn't make sense for somebody to diet down until 48 hours before a show and then try and jam in 2,000 grams of carbs. And then this is where people step on stage and they're like, I messed everything up. So you've just dieted for 16, 20 weeks and you just messed everything up in 48 hours because you did something completely different to what you've done the entire rest of the time.
The final week, you deplete yourself down of carbohydrate. What this does, it serves to heighten your insulin sensitivity so that when you take on carbs, you absorb more carbs. So you do that for say 3 days or 4 days or whatever your plan is, and then you load up on carbs for 3 days. And the reaction in the body, without getting too technical, is because it's been drained of carbs for so long, it then pulls in as many carbs as it can. It's called supercompensation.
You feel so tired. It's like every muscle is lead. You know, everything's an effort. Getting up this morning to do cardio was some real effort. For the first time in 17, 18 weeks, I actually felt like going fuck it and not actually doing cardio. And because Phil's going to be there on Sunday, he can look at me, say 10, half 10, 11 o'clock on show day and say, right, okay, we need some carbs. Throw them in now. Or we don't need carbs, just protein and fats. But because he's there on Sunday, I feel a lot more comfortable.
With Tom and Paul using diuretic drugs to drop water leading into the show, Paul has to be extra careful due to a medical condition he has until now kept private.
And it is a disease, and I know what everybody will say, and it's bound to say it when they see this, that this is just down to bodybuilding and drugs and high protein diets and all that sort of stuff. My FSGS disease is actually a blood disorder that is basically wrecking my kidneys. I've been totally honest with the consultants. It's non-curable. There's nothing I can do to halt it, to stop it, to prolong it. What will happen, and what will happen is probably in about 7 to 8 years, I will be on dialysis.
Diuretics is probably the only thing that will kill you because they will stop your heart. You know, potassium levels can drop. You know, the diuretic is flushing water out your system, obviously at the same time it's flushing electrolytes out your system. Your potassium levels drop far enough, your heart will stop. So diuretics are risky, dangerous, a lot of the time unnecessary in my view, but having said that, at times I think they're useful for certain people.
Standard diuretics, which just, for example, a mild diuretic, which is what I would use is called aldosterone, and what it does, it suppresses the body's ability to hold on to sodium. There's what's called loop diuretics, which is the most powerful one, Lasix or furosemide, which generally doesn't get used anymore unless you're writing shit the day before the show.
This is Dizide. It's the diuretic that I'll be using.
Okay, so these are the diuretics I use. They're called spironolactone, but they're actually aldactone tablets. There's a tons in there. These are 100 mg tablets, but that's quite a high dose. I would use normally 50 milligrams, so what I do is I get the tablet and I break it with a knife.
These are the trunks I'm going to be wearing, and the material is sort of velvety, but it's stretch.
Yeah, the tiny pants and the tan, it's a funny old thing for such a masculine sport. The fact that they do shave their body hair and put tiny pants on, usually quite glittery, and tan themselves, I do find quite bizarre.
I've only seen the tiny pants in the actual drawer, and I haven't seen them on yet, and I haven't seen him do the tan yet, so all I've seen is a picture he's got on the mantelpiece over there, and that's the only time I've seen it, so it's all going to be an eye-opener for me. I've gone to bodybuilding shows with Tom, so but obviously seeing Tom up there is going to be a new experience for me.
It's the day before the show, but Tom is still behind the gym counter serving customers.
Thanks mate, 150 tack, lovely. Actually, the last time I competed, I had to work the day before the show because I couldn't get any staff cover, and I was working up until something like 2 o'clock, and then I had to get in the car and drive up to Nottingham for the British finals. And suffice to say, I looked shit that day.
And what's that for?
It's to cover his bits. A tan will make or break a physique. So if it's done badly, it will cost you points. It will cost you points. So we're about to start. Right. Okay, you ready? It's going to be a bit chilly, okay?
And the neighbours outside smoking.
What are you doing?
Future ammunition. Blackmail. The spray tan's a new one. Usually I do his tan, so it's actually quite nice to not have to do that this time, because that does take a long time, and with the children in the house it's a bit of a pain. I've got to say, one of the worst things about poor competing is the tanning, especially with cream carpets.
Wow, amazing position, oh my god. Amazing position, that's fine.
Check these bad boys!
Like that bad boy cross.
Oh,
That should become staff uniform.
Oh no!
That's 5 minutes no one's getting paid for. Pricks. So my tan doesn't come off. Pricks.
That's flip-flops.
I ain't got no flip-flops.
Tom, they are gay.
I don't care. Like,
Crocs are a crock of shit.
You're saying it like I should be embarrassed. I don't care. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, but the worrying thing is he's got rubber bands and Crocs. Oh, Thomas.
I'm not embarrassed. I don't know why you're going on about it.
You gonna go on stage with them?
You got no ninjas to wax.
But if you're budgie
And no floor, look at this floor. It's a Hoover.
Budgie smugglers and Crocs.
This window's dirty. Watch that.
He's so wrong.
Oh my days.
Oh.
She's done.
You didn't even do this to me when I was 9 months pregnant.
I did a lot of things for you when you were 9 months pregnant.
Yeah, it made me piss me off.
Hurry up, because I'm cramping.
No, don't like feet. Only baby feet. Not big feet. This is not my favourite job.
It's the morning of the show, and Paul can't find his posing trunks.
Well, I just can't find them. It's the ones that I was going to wear, and I've been wearing to take my pictures and stuff for the last 4 weeks. I just can't find them.
I've got a duplicate set. They're just a slightly different colour, but I'm just confused to where they've gone. This is the most stressful part of the weekend, this. Getting ready to go.
I haven't opened this for nearly 4 years, so I don't know what's going to be in it. Hopefully nothing bad. So, I wonder if that's still good. That's 3 years out of date.
Spoke to him this morning about 6 o'clock on text, just about the day. I think he's setting off about 8:30, 9, because he's going to get retanned.
Despite being each other's competition, Tom has still remembered to buy Paul a birthday present, which he's planning to give him once the show has finished.
Every year I get Paul a birthday present, and this year I've got him a rollie, which is a like a little cooker, and you put your eggs into the top there, and I'll show you a picture. So you put your eggs in, and it's like a tube, and the eggs cook, and then they pop out like a lollipop. So you can actually, they do give you wooden things to put in, so you can eat it like a lollipop, or it just pops out. We've always bought each other presents for the last couple of years, I think, and generally birthday, I think Christmas presents tend to be a piss take, and then birthday presents tend to be like good presents.
Right, put that one on, take that one with you.